Hey you, this is my FA Cup Q&A. I put it out there on Twitter, ask me anything, I'll put it in the video, give you a shout out and I'll answer your question. We've had a few come in. The first one is from Abu Baker. He says, who can United buy to replace Michael Carrick? Can't believe it's not Scholes, it's Carrick, you know. I honestly don't know. Can anyone replace Michael Carrick? Can anyone replace? When he first started off at Spurs, I liked the look of Eric Dyer, but I don't know, at the start of the season he was off the boil a bit, and I wouldn't say his passing is there. With the way Mourinho likes to play, I think he'll probably try and push Herrera into that Carrick role. And I think Herrera is going to be our future captain, he's going to be a future leader. He loves playing for United as well, and that's what you need in your engine room. So I think possibly we could be looking for another Pogba, a more attacking player to go in at 3 midfield and Herrera push back to defensive midfield and then use Blind for cover. Honestly, there is no one who can replace Carrick. The next one is from James. He says, who do you think will win the FA Cup this year? Well, United, obviously. You know, 2 seasons in a row. It's gonna happen, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna happen. Yeah. Knowing Arsenal though, they'll end up winning it. Knowing Arsenal, they'll end up winning it this year. I mean, Wenger's been under, it reminds me of a few seasons back when Arsenal won the 2 FA Cups in a row. He was under so much pressure because, again, they were only getting 4th place in the league and all of a sudden they pulled 2 FA Cups out of the bag and they're the best team in England. So I wouldn't put it past Arsenal to end up winning it this season after the poor start to the season that they've had in some aspects. Fans getting on their back already, Arsenal fan TV getting more embarrassing by the game. The next question is from Lukesh. He says, we desperately needed the FA Cup last year, whereas this year, I don't think we do. Do you think we should give youth more of a chance this year in the FA Cup? It was amazing to win the FA Cup last year. It was the best experience ever. Me, just hundreds of United fans in this small little English looking bar, and we just went crazy. It was incredible. And Jesse Lingard turned into Messi. So everything is good. I agree with you in some aspects this year, and I was thinking this to myself the other day, but I don't want to be a hypocrite. I've always said the Europa League is important, and I've not heard any other United fans say that. I've always said I want to see us go to win the Europa League. Every other United fan say it's a Mickey Mouse competition and we should just cast it off. I don't agree. I think we are right to take the Europa League seriously. Now, if I had to put the Europa League on a scale with the FA Cup, I'd say the Europa League's there and the FA Cup's down there. And I don't mean that in a bad way because the FA Cup is an amazing English competition. But do we need it this season? You're right, look, do we need it this season? I think other competitions are more important. Matt has asked, should Schneiderlin and Depay be sold? Yes. I honestly do. I think I was so happy when we signed Morgan Schneiderlin off of Arsenal. It was amazing. And he looks so good for Southampton. So good. So I'm a little bit disappointed that he hasn't worked out. I thought he'd be a great replacement for Carrick, but it's a bit like when we bought Fellaini. You know, I was thinking, oh yes, a defensive midfielder. Brilliant. But then they've always looked better for United, these defensive midfielders we've bought when they're in the attacking third, more than when they're in the defensive third. So it's been a little bit disappointing from Schneiderlin. I wouldn't say cut fee. Let's still try and get 22 million for him because he's a decent player. He'd do great at Everton. He really will. And he will have the best game of his life against us later on in the season if he does end up at Everton. With Memphis, he just hasn't done enough. People say he hasn't been given chances. He has been given chances. He had a great start and he just hasn't been good enough since. So I would say, yeah, we should cut our losses. I wouldn't send him to an English side. That's the only thing I would say. I would let him go to a Nice. I'd let him go to a Roma. Anywhere that isn't the Premier League. Damien has tweeted me, I don't think we should buy back Evra. What do you think? I think we should. I love Patrice Evra. Patrice Evra, do you know what? I've always said this about Patrice. He had 2 or 3 seasons where he's the best left back in the world. Like he was just unplayable at times. But then towards the last 2-3 years of his United career, he couldn't defend to save his life. But in the attacking third, he was immense. And then what he brought as well to the pitch, passion, fire, you remember the whole Suarez thing, it was great. He was just an unbelievable footballer, an unbelievable character, an unbelievable player. I'd have him back. When we look at our squad, if we bring Evra in, the leaders we have in there, Carrick, Rooney, Ibrahimovic, also in there, we'll have Patrice Evra, we'd have Schweinsteiger, it's just perfect. So yeah, I would bring him back, definitely, without a doubt. The next one's from Tom. He's asked, who is our player of the season so far? That is difficult because the last like what, 13, 14, 15 games, I think the team has been amazing, but individual performances in some games have still been a bit shoddy. For instance, Ibrahimovic is doing exactly what a striker should do. He's scoring goals. And when he's scoring goals and he's winning us games, there's our player of the season. But during these games, he has looked awful at times and he hasn't helped the team at all. Pogba, maybe. Again, last 6, 7, 8 games, he's been borderline unplayable. Mata has been super. For me, it'd be between the two Spaniards. I reckon it's between Mata and Herrera at the moment. I would edge and Herrera just because of the game time. Shay has asked, who should we sign this window? I don't know, I don't want to disrupt the squad too much, but if we're going to see a few players go, it might be nice to maybe bring in some fresh legs. Look, at the end of the day, Mourinho is getting his squad he's got at the moment to play in a certain way. The only problem with Mourinho's teams in the past is that he has taken these squads, drilled them in the first season, got them playing great football for about a season and a half, worn them out, and then they start to dip. So I think it is so important to keep the squad together at the moment, so maybe not any signings this window, but in the summer we have to refresh. In the summer we have to sign 3, 4 players, maybe then as well 3 young stars as well to come into the side and really pad out that squad with Champions League as well. I'm talking a Griezmann, another midfielder, a winger, a left back, a right back, maybe in the summer a couple of youngsters as well from leagues that we might not have heard of but can come in and do a job, and in a League Cup play, the FA Cup play, etc. Because that's the problem with Mourinho as a manager. He wins you trophies in your first 2 seasons. We've yet to see a Jose Mourinho team get to that level and keep going up and up and up. So let's hope with United it's different, because he's a great man, he's a great manager, he's really showing what he can do with this side. And fingers crossed, next season, without sounding like a Liverpool fan, this is going to sound like a Liverpool fan. I can't say it. I will sound like a Liverpool fan. I'm not going to say it. It might be our season! Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Let's get the subscribe count up so I can finally get a username. Sorry, I've started a new channel, so I've got literally no followers. On top of that, make sure you follow me online on Facebook and Twitter. I'm at Ben Pearce Talks. For now, ciao.